Lucas Olles, at 19 years old at the time, had a stroke, leading him to a near-death experience, the famous NDE. In the place where he was taken, many things were shown to him, of which he still remembers most. The surprise, besides having the opportunity to spend time with his grandmother, who passed away before he was born, was to know what, according to his grandmother, is the natural place from where we all come and to where we will return. However, the biggest surprise was discovering that leaving the body is a quick and painless process, but returning is much more complicated and painful. Hello, I am Enrique, and it's a pleasure to welcome you here in the afterlife we live in. I hope you feel at home and enjoy the story we are about to tell. On September 27, 2005, marked by a series of impressive events, Lucas, working on what seemed like an ordinary day, was surprised by a strong pain in the back of his neck, followed by tingling on the right side of his body. Initially, he thought it was just a passing discomfort. However, the condition quickly deteriorated. Lucas lost the ability to speak and felt as if his mouth was numb. Eventually, he passed out at work and only regained consciousness long after being taken to the hospital. He was immediately admitted and underwent a series of tests that identified an ischemic stroke in the left internal area of the brain. 8 hours after his admission, he suffered a seizure followed by cardiac arrest, triggering the second stroke, which, according to doctors, was something fatal. It was during this second stroke that he describes an awakening outside of his body, in the corner of the ICU, observing all the medical efforts to revive him, including the commotion of the medical team and the removal of his mother from the room. He became aware of the situation and realized clearly that he had died, but he did not feel fear or shock upon seeing himself outside his body in the ICU. He had the impression that the human body was ugly, but this observation was not accompanied by fear or shock. Instead, he felt a peace and a sense of continuity. Shortly after, he had a vision of white light and was drawn to it as if he were on a roller coaster, but upwards, followed by a blackout. Upon waking up elsewhere, he was on a platform in a lawn, accompanied by his maternal grandmother, who passed away before he was born. Even without seeing her face clearly, he knew who she was. At that moment, she conveyed tranquility and assured him that he was there for a short period and would soon return. She comforted him, reassuring that everything was fine there. Lucas felt a profound peace. He describes a sense of collective consciousness while in this place. After the near-death experience, he felt that there were no individuals, but rather a deep connection between all present. The environment was like a vast field, with a grove to the left and a large lake to the right, whose end was not visible. People were dressed similarly, all conversing with each other, with smiles on their faces. His grandmother explained that this was the life where people lived, and that Lucas would return soon with the mission to recount his experience and multiply it. As he walked with her, he tried to look down to see his body, but he couldn't see it. Looking up, there was no sky, just white. Lucas describes a profound experience of connection and warmth while in this place, marveling at the beauty and peace of the environment, expressing his enchantment with the intense light around him. As they walked, they encountered a group gathered where one person was speaking and interacting with others. Lucas felt a comforting warmth and a sense of spiritual nourishment as he approached this group. His grandmother leads him through various areas of this place, including a spot full of flowers. She then prepares him to return, assuring him that everything will be okay and encouraging him to report and use his experiences for good. Despite the comfort and beauty of the place, he admits to feeling some fear and apprehension about returning. He associates these feelings with the image of his body in the ICU and the prospect of returning to that situation. As he lies back down, he experiences the sensation of falling, indicating the beginning of his return to the physical body and reality. Lucas describes a series of events that led to his near-death experience, mentioning that he woke up while being intubated, with a medical team around him. Although some days have passed since his cardiac arrest, he immediately recalled the near-death experience. He describes how, immediately after waking up and witnessing the medical efforts to revive him, he immediately remembered being in the corner of the ICU during the seizure and witnessing his own cardiac arrest. Lucas notes that even months later, he had difficulty speaking due to the damage caused by the stroke. However, he does not hesitate to assert that his experience began immediately after the seizure and cardiac arrest, when he found himself in the corner of the ICU. Observing the medical efforts to revive him, he compares this return to diving into a pool where entering the physical body is painful and difficult, reporting that the sensation of re-entering his body was accompanied by physical pain, something he did not experience in the out-of-body state during the experience. He highlighted the difference between his consciousness during the NDE, which he describes as universal and expanded, and his consciousness within the body, which he perceives as more limited and reduced, describing a strong perception of connection between the place where he was during his experience and the physical world, feeling the emotions of people both in that place and here on Earth, highlighting the connection between the two planes. Regarding changes in his worldview after the experience, he reports that the fear of death completely disappeared. Furthermore, he perceives changes in his routine and thoughts, indicating that sometimes he feels contact with the place where he was and with those who inhabit it.
That's where the commonality is. That's where we have to return to stay. That's our place. At times, some people from there, some beings from there, for some reason, come here and make contact.